Hello friends, welcome back to Digitalk. So in the first session of Jenkins and WebLogic, we have learned how we can install the Jenkins in the Linux machine. Now this is the second part, and as I said in the first part that in this particular part we are just going to deploy a war file, okay, using the Jenkins. So file is already built and it is staged somewhere in your server, right? And then what you need to deploy this particular war file with the help of Jenkins tool. Okay, so this is a net action plan what we are going to follow. Okay, so let me explain you what are the steps that you need to be followed. So what are the prerequisite for that? You have to be Jenkins installed up and running, which we have installed in the first session. WebLogic should be up and running, our domain should be up and running and accessible, and at least one of the server is up and running. If it is not managed server, at least admin server for testing purpose, so that you can deploy your application on the admin server for testing purpose. Okay, so for this lab we are going to deploy the application in the admin server only. A while file should be there. Okay, now you have to install and configure Jenkins, which we have already done. You have to create a small Python deploy script and we are going to use the WLST script, so the deployment will be done with the help of WLST. And then we have to create a Jenkins pipeline job. Okay, so there are multiple features and functions in the Jenkins. Okay, and specifically when we talk about the pipelines, this is one of the important feature which act as a CI/CD pipeline. That means continuous integration and continuous deployment. So what exactly is happen is that it completely automate your end-to-end build, compile process and the creation of a war file, and then it automatically deploy it to the environment. Right. So traditionally, what has happened that whenever we develop any code, we send it to the some central repository. From there, the code is checked in, then it compiled. After compilation, the war file or EAR file, whatever required, it gets created. Right. After that, you have to do certain kind of a testings. So in the DevOps, we define the certain test. Okay, automated test. So that test executed automatically when we execute when the code is compiled and the war file is created, and once the test is executed successfully, then it automatically deployed. So that means the complete end-to-end process of the application build, test, compile, and then deployment is taken care by your this particular job, which is called the pipeline job. Right. So in this particular session, as I said, we have only requirement is to deploy a already built war file using the Jenkins pipeline. So we should have a script in place. This script we are going to use in the pipeline. So once we'll execute the pipeline job, it will execute this particular script, okay, in your server, and based on the logic that you are going to define, it will deploy your application based on the Python script that you are going to create. Right. So this is the prerequisite and just a small overview of the Jenkins pipeline. So let me quickly explain you the script that we are going to use. Okay, so this is the deployment script that I have created with the name of deploy.py, and this is the location in my server, okay, where Jenkins running. So this is the small script, right? This I have written in the Python format. Okay, so these are the environment variable that we need to pass for the deploy command, right? So when we use a deploy command in the WLST, we have to specify the application name, the complete path of the application with the with the complete path of your application with the name of your application, your target, and then upload equal to true. So this is the command that we use for the deployment, and this is the argument that we are going to pass. Okay, and these arguments will come from the pipeline script that we are going to define in the Jenkins. Right, and then connect command, it is used to connect to your admin server. Then deployment command will be used for the deployment, and once the deployment is correct, it will disconnect and then exit. This is a small Python script for the deployment. Okay, and this is the location that I have created. So if you are doing it for testing purpose, then you can create one folder in your server, somewhere in your server, and then you can create a file .py file and then copy paste this content. Okay, so if you need this document for your lab or lab exercises for demo purpose, you can send us email at digitalk.fmw@gmail.com. We will send you this document. I am repeating email ID again. It is digitalk.fmw@gmail.com. Okay, I will send you this file. Now, once this code file is ready for the deployment, this WST file, then you have to create a Jenkins pipeline job in your Jenkins. And for that, we have to write a pipeline script. So this is a pipeline script. Okay, and This is just a small example of the pipeline script. Okay, there are much more functionality that a pipeline can does. As I said, CI/CD complete CI/CD automations we can do with the help of pipeline. So you need to learn this pipeline in detail. What is the syntax of pipeline? How it works? Okay, but at least this will give you a small overview of the end-to-end functionality, and it will give you a kickoff for from where exactly you need to start when you are going to learn Jenkins specifically in the WebLogic and even in the DevOps as well. Right. So I will show you how to create a new pipeline job from the Jenkins console. But before that, let me explain you the pipeline script that I have created. Okay. So this is the pipeline tag. Okay. This is the standard tag. You need to start a pipeline with the pipeline tag. Okay. And then agent, we are going to use any. That means, as I said in the previous session, in your Jenkins, you have a master and agent node kind of architecture where master initiate the jobs and then all the jobs are executed on the agents. So that means whatever the job we are executing, that executed in the agent nodes, right? And if you would like to specify the job to run on a specific agent, then we can specify with the help of agent tag. Okay, so now because we have the complete installation of a single machine, everything, that means master and agent, everything running on a single machine where we have installed, so we don't need to specify any agent. It is going to execute on the same node where we have installed the Jenkins. Then this is the path for your WLST script, okay, which is the WLST.sh. Okay, and the location of this is your middleware home. This is the middleware home in my case, where I have installed the WebLogic. Then Oracle underscore common bin. So for this script, you can replace this complete path, okay, according to your WebLogic installation. Then here I have specified the admin URL, so you can change the IP address and the port according to your environment. Admin username and password for your WebLogic, you can again change it according to your requirements. This is my application name. This is my WAR file application name, so you can change it according to your requirement. If you need this file as well for your demo purpose, okay, you can send email to us. Along with that, this particular code, I will send you the testing WAR file as well. Otherwise, you can use any of the WAR file which you have for the testing purpose. Correct. So this is the environment details that we are specifying, and this is a script which is going to be used for the deployment, and this is the same script which we have created, okay, inside this particular location. Correct. And now we have to define the stages, and in stages we have defined, this is the message that deploy var to WebLogic. This is the directory from where it is going to take the code file, var file, along with the deployment py file. Right. So this is the location. So if you have some different location in your server, make sure after changing the environment variables and values, you have to change this path accordingly, and make sure your code file and your deploy script exists inside this particular folder. Okay, and then this is going to take this particular argument for the execution. So this is the script, okay, and this is the complete your input that is required for your script, right? So this is the script we have created, deploy.py, and here we have specified the variable application name, path, target, and upload equal to true. So that means we have to specify this value as an argument, okay, and this argument we are specifying with the help of pipeline script. So this is the explanation of your pipeline script. So let me show you. So this is my server. So here I am inside U01 Jenkins and the code, and if I do the listing here, you can see this is my mybank.war file is here, and deploy.py file is also there. Okay, so here I have just added my WebLogic username, password, and the port and then IP address, and this is the same what I have mentioned here, right? So for your environment, you have to make sure you are specifying the proper environment and then other input values along with the proper path. Okay, otherwise your pipeline job will get failed. Right. So now it is ready. So now our duty is to go to the your Jenkins dashboard. Here we have to create a new pipeline job. Right. So for that, you have to click on the new item. You can give a name, for example, deploy to WebLogic. Okay, so here we have a different kind of a job that we can create. So we have to create a pipeline. So select the pipeline and click on OK. Right. So here you have to specify some description. So let me specify pipeline to deploy var file to the WebLogic server. You can specify any description here. Okay, and then next scroll down and come to the pipeline script. So this is a location where you have to specify your pipeline script. Okay, so what I will do, I will just take it from here and I'm going to copy it here. Okay, so this is our pipeline script that is going to be called from this particular pipeline job. So click on save. Okay, so now it is ready. Your pipeline script is ready and job you have created. Now to execute this one, you have to kill on the run on this build now. So once you will click on build, it is going to execute the pipeline script and it will execute the complete end-to-end logic that is you have defined in your particular script. So let me click on build now. You can see build scheduled and you can at the last you can see the status of that. Okay, you can see now this build is up going. Click on this one if you would like to check the status, and here you have the option console output. There are multiple things are there. Click on console output and here you can see the execution. So Jenkins has been started, it is running. This is the code location, this is the var file it has taken, it is executing. You can see here, and then now you can see the build is success. So now if I show you properly the output of this console output, which is the output of our pipeline script, you can completely see it has started the pipeline. Okay, this is the location that has been created based on the input that we have given for the pipeline name, right? This is, you can say, this is the syntax for the pipeline. It is connected to WST, after it is connected to admin server, and then it is started to deploying our var file to the admin server based on the logic that we have defined in the script. And once it is success, okay, and you can see the status is success. So now that means our pipeline has been executed successfully and the application is deployed. So now if I go to the WebLogic console and let me show you in the deployment. So you can see this is the mybank var file which is active. It is deployed using the pipeline, right? So this is how we use the Jenkins for the deployment of a var file or any of the ER file, even any of the file that is supported using the Jenkins. And what is the net exact flow that we have learned? You have to create a script, okay, for the deployment. Then we have to create a pipeline, and this is the syntax that I have explained to you. What is the basic syntax and how we can use it for the deployment of the file, right? And then how we can create a simple pipeline job from the Jenkins console, how to build it, and how to check the output of that. Okay, so we have seen the output. So now if you go to the dashboard, so you will see on the dashboard, this is your job that you have created. This is the status, which is success, how much time it has taken, okay, and last duration. So all the status you can see from here, correct? And apart from that, you can do multiple things specifically related with the jobs. Okay, you can configure multiple things specifically. There are a lot of different settings that you can configure. For that you have to learn this Jenkins tool. Okay, so hopefully in the future as well I am going to post few more videos on the Jenkins along with the WebLogic, right? So if you want to delete this particular pipeline which you have created, so you have an option delete pipeline. You can click on delete pipeline and click on yes, your pipeline has been deleted, right? Thank you.